Put it in the way, battling, having got in way of the attempted clearance. Jim Gannon. Oh, great flick on by Alan Armstrong.
It's against Bradford, but here's Warburton!
Yes!
London trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, yeah!
Not got it clear. Please, sir! It's a cracker!
Running Armstrong, played in again, and a superb goal!
Tony did it! Stockport County are the champions of League Two.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Scarf Bagara War, your weekly dose of county content on a Wednesday evening, where you can stream it all week on your any audio player that you are listening to us on, or your favourite audio player to that matter. Remember, it's for fans, by fans, in partnership with Edgeley Conservative Club Coaches. Get in there. Oh, a roll of prints, partners with Mentel. I'm Russ Johnson. I'm delighted to be joined, as always, by my wingman. It's Waggy. You all right, mate?
Yes, very good. Looking very festive. Liking it. Yeah,
we've gone festive today, haven't we?
Yeah, well, it's apparently Christmas jumper day tomorrow, so thought Christmas jumpers all around.
Is that a thing, like one day a week, one day of the year?
Maybe it is in nurseries, because that's where I've got my information from.
Right, fair enough.
Not that I've been to nurseries to check. It's because my wife works in a nursery.
Right, yeah,
not
okay.
That type of podcast anymore.
Okay, we believe you. Thousands wouldn't. Hey, good stuff. And we're also joined by the head honcho himself from the Stockport County Supporters Cooperative, Mr. Chairman, I think we'll call you from now on. It's Dave Marchbank. You all right?
I'm very well, Ross. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
Good,
I'm enjoying life as a county fan these days.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. So on the agenda tonight, it's a bit of a packed show. Something came in late. We'll talk about that as well. But we're going to talk about the Exeter win on Saturday, the Bradford defeat last night, BB Andresson as well. I think I've pronounced that right. Do you know what? That's years and years of playing Football Manager and trying to pronounce players in the language, like the accent from where they're from. I don't know if anybody else
can easily say that, but you can't say Edgeley Con Club coaches.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. yeah, you got it spot on. I can't pronounce English stuff. It's
you got it all the foreign stuff.
Yeah. And I know Goodney is watching tonight, our Icelandic Stockport County fan. So hopefully I've done that some justice there.
I'm sure he'll
Goodney, so let me know. And I've probably pronounced his name wrong, but there you go. We've got Get in the Reses in a bit, listener questions, and we've got an opposition preview with Matt Farley from the Stevenage FC podcast. So I think, without further ado, we'll get Matt out, shall we?
If you want to go out,
let's do it. Good evening, Matt.
Good evening, chaps. Thanks for having me on.
Hi, Matt.
How are you, mate?
Oh, mate, do you know what? I think I was saying to you the other day, Russ, it's brilliant to link up again, chaps. I've missed you. What's it been? 2 years, isn't it? 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years, yeah.
Yeah. Who would have thought we'd be sitting here in League One, eh?
I tell you what. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think I'm surprised that. Let's be honest. We were surprised you went up. That's the thing. Not surprised you stayed up, but I think we're all agreeing we're surprised you went up. I mean, that's a great place to start. Tell us about that season. We finished fourth, you finished second. I remember going onto the Gab Sutton show and saying to you, I think we were chasing you down and we wanted your spot. Tell us about that season. How pleased are you?
It was honestly, as a Stevenage Football Club fan, and I've been a fan for just over 20 years. So not as long as other people, but still, over 20 years of support. I've seen a lot, and I've gone every single week. And that season was one, I would say, probably the most special season I've ever seen as a Stevenage fan. And it was so funny because we'd been so bad for so many years, lads, right? It was like, before that season, we got a reprieve to stay up, and we were knocking on the door for, relegation for so many years. And it wasn't one of these things where, we got Evans in and it took 2 years to kind of manifest, and then we had the success. We had the success straight after, that season after that he took over, and we had that incredible season, and it was brilliant. And I think early on, I remember doing a pre-season tour. We went to Jersey, and we actually did Jersey before this season. It was quite nice to go back and see how far we've come. But we knew that we had a special team and a special group. We didn't know that group and that special team went on to kind of did what they did. It was a magnificent season, and the memories, the wins, the last-minute goals. There were so many. I hate to bring it up. I think there was one against yourselves that season as well.
There was.
At home, Jamie Reid. You'll be seeing him on Saturday. It was just, it was a truly magnificent season, and to go along with that, to finish second or automatically promoted, not through the playoffs, automatically promoted. An incredible achievement for that team. And then to go along with that, they didn't just do that season. They beat Aston Villa away in the FA Cup.
Oh, so God, you did. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. And, just having one of those moments in that season would have been enough. To get both was just unbelievable. And I'll always remember the last 5 months of the season. It was that, we're not going to do it, are we? Surely not. We're not going to, every month, we're not going to do it. Surely it's not going to happen. And I always remember that last 2 months where we got the wins, and we beat Swindon away 1-0. Jamie Reid scored that day, set up promotion day. I never thought I was going to see a promotion day at my club for my team after the years that we'd had through COVID and knocking on the door to go down. And we got it, and we did it. And it was amazing. We all shed a little bit of a tear. And I remember we all went to celebrate the promotion in Ibiza, and we had that booked for many months, so we're kind of like crossing our fingers, going, they've got to do it now. We've booked Ibiza. So honestly, what a season! What a memory to have. I've got the shirts up behind me; they went up straight away, and it's something that we'll always look back on with a real happy heart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, to do that. I mean, how's it been? How has it been since then? And so you went up. Did you change the squad much in the season that we were in League Two? Well, Champions League 2. Did you change the squad much? Did you add more to it, or what did you do?
Yeah, so to be completely honest with you, we kept a lot of we kept the bulk of that squad, I call it. We kept the Cole Piagianis and the Dan Sweeties and Ashby Hammond, Luther Wildings, Jamie Reid. We kept a lot of that squad. We did lose a few faces that I think we were gutted about. We lost Alex Gilby, who went to MK Dons. Yeah. I tell you, he was brilliant for us, that promotion. We wish we kept him because he was one of the players of the season. We lost Jake Reeves, but we felt that maybe Reeves was going to stay at League Two. I think, oddly, looking at it now, I think Jake Reeves could have played League One, but he dropped down to Wimbledon. He had a great kind of history with Wimbledon, so he went to them. We lost Danny Rose and Luke Norris. Danny Rose wanted to go back up north, and Luke Norris at the time was quite injury prone, so I think we got rid of them. Who, when you look back, it's quite gutting really, because Danny Rose was just. I'm not going to swear on the podcast, but it's a word ending with house. So if you can kind of go away. You're
allowed to say those. You're allowed to swear moderately.
You are allowed to say
I wasn't sure. I didn't want to come in and then throw it out in the first 5 minutes and then but he was that type of player. And there was a goal, right, guys, against Hartlepool where he hid in the goal net, right? And the keepers rolled the ball out. He hid in the goal, ran out the goal, got the ball, ran around the keeper and scored. He was that type of player. So we did lose a few players, but what we did really well is we kept the bulk, and then we signed some League One level players like Louis Thompson, Nathan Thompson, his brother, who were both at Portsmouth together, real League One level generals, we call them, and Dan Butler, who'd become a League One player at Peterborough. So we went out and made some signings of League One level quality to kind of compete last season, yeah.
And is that the team that you've got now? So over the following summer, then if we sort of skip ahead, is that Obviously, there's going to be players in and out, but have you kept that nucleus, or is that a completely different changed team from now?
Well, it's a great question because obviously we've had a change of manager, and the Evans era came to an end, and the Alex Revell era started, and obviously Revs was manager back in COVID and did a good job actually, but his lack of experience just told in the end. And Evans always said that Revs would be the next manager. So kind of coming into this season, we've kind of labelled this our biggest ever season because we've kind of looked at the division and gone, wow. I mean, we've never played in a league this good. So I think for us, it's the biggest season, second season in League One after getting promoted. And we have signed a lot of new players. Again, we've kept that initial bulk. Again, I say the Cole Piergiannis, Sweeneys, Luthers, Reedies, and some of the players from last season, Louis Thompson, we've kept those. But what we've done this season is we've kind of upgraded the squad. So we've brought a lot of new players in who are better players than some of the players that we had last season, in a nutshell. So we did make a lot of signings. We signed Charlie Good, who, fabulous player, really. I can't believe we've got him. He was brilliant and then broke his leg away at Exeter. And actually, he's back in January. We've brought in players like Louis Apparet and Tyree Simpson and Dan Kemp, who's a fabulous player, Dan Phillips, Jake Young. So we have got a lot of new players. And I think we needed it because I think if we'd have stuck with that team from last season, I think we'd have struggled a lot this season. We needed to upgrade the team and we did that for this season.
So have you upgraded with younger players, or have you just gone for a sort of a better calibre?
Better calibre.
Better calibre, okay.
More established. I think that was the key. When you look at Charlie Good, for example, this is a guy that captained Brentford in the Premier League. So we've tried to bring in more established players at the level. Yeah.
Wow, that's a good signing. That.
Yeah. Just looking at some of the players that you've got today, then you've mentioned a lot of them, but looking at some of the stats online and things, Harvey White, tell us about him because he's your best performing player. Is that someone we need to be looking out for on Saturday?
Interesting one about Harvey. Harvey is a very good technical footballer, right? And we got Harvey from Tottenham, and he was doing quite well at Tottenham. He played a couple of first team games in the League Cup. He was playing with Harry Kane, and he was training. So technically, he's a very gifted footballer. And under Alex Revell, he's been a lot better because his type of style, he likes to get the ball on the floor and he likes to play. Under Evans, as you chaps probably are aware, the ball's in the air every phase of play. So Harvey White's kind of suited better under Evans. Interesting that you said kind of best performing player. I wouldn't actually have him as one of our probably best players this season, but he's certainly been a player that has played really well. He gets the ball down, he creates, he's got great delivery. And actually, oddly, he has scored a couple of goals. He scored last night in the trophy as well, scored at Huddersfield. So, yeah, look, I would say Harvey is definitely a player for you to watch out. He's got that quality that can get a ball and play a real kind of decisive pass that can open up a phase of play. And he's having a very good season. So, yeah, Harvey's a big player for us. And he's in a very competitive midfield, very tough, actually, because he's got some very good players around him. But, yeah, I'd certainly say a player to watch for yourselves, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the reason why I pick him out is because we look at FOTMob on this podcast, and he comes out as the top rated player for Stevenage on FOTMob, two assists. Obviously, you said the goal. I think he's got one goal, has he? In the league, certainly. So he is up there. Dan Kemp as well. They're the ones to look out. Yeah. If we look beyond that, though, who else are going to cause us some problems on Saturday?
It's a good question, yeah. And by the way, Dan Kemp, I would say, is probably our best performing player at the minute. He's been wonderful. And again, it was a bit of a coup with Kemp because we'd had him previously in COVID, and he was brilliant for us then. He was just very young. He was like 18 or so, 19. And we got him, kind of knew Alex Revell, and our chairman said we did great to get him because Birmingham wanted him as well, and Dan just felt that we were more local to him and he played for the club and he felt he could come and do really well here. So yeah, he has been brilliant the last couple of months, scored 3 goals, got a few assists, on fire at the minute. But I would say players for you to watch out with. Look, I say every podcast to people, Captain Cole Piergiannis, I know he's had a stint at Stockport. Your fans will probably know him very well. He's an absolute menace from set pieces. And it's just like, every ball that goes in the box, he's going to win the ball. It's just that guy in the air is unreal. And he's been a rock this season, an absolute linchpin in this side. Jamie Reid, of course. Reid's had a bit of a tough one this season because he kind of come into this season and he had a medical condition which ruled him out for the first 2 months of the season pretty much. And Reid found it very difficult to find form. And he's had a couple of really good games, and then he scored against Northampton last Tuesday. And it all just seemed to click, and we started to see the original Jamie Reid again. So I would certainly say now Jamie Reid's someone that you'll want to keep an eye on. Jordan Roberts, another top player, played really well last night. He's one you'll have to watch for. He can get you from A to B in quick succession. Top player, can create. And he generally is either in the final third or in the number 10 role. He's certainly a player that you'll have to keep an eye on. Look, you know me, I'd love to sit here and name our whole squad. But, you know,
I was going to say, I was wondering when you was going to end. Was you going to go to the youth team as well?
Yeah, he's probably thinking, who's this arrogant guy who's just literally named the full 25 squad? You know me. But no, I would say, they're probably the players that you'll want to keep an eye on. Again, I think out of that list, the best performing one at the minute is probably Dan Kemp.
Yeah, I mean, he's the name on, not to say everybody's lips, but we definitely come across Dan Kemp before in the past in League Two. Last 5 matches then, I know one was an impressive 4-0 win against Burton last night in the, what's it called now? Is it the Virtue Trophy or something?
Virtue these days.
Virtue,
it was,
yeah, when did that change?
Honestly, this is, we were having this joke last night. We were like, hang on a sec. So it was the Papa John's, it's the Bristol Streamers, and the Virtue. It's like, what's it going to be next year? The Wicks? What's it going to be? Like, it's going to be like construction.
Milk. We're back to being the milk cup.
Yeah, it will always be the Auto Windscreen Shield to me, or the Johnston's paint. Any of them two, really.
Elite. Yeah.
But yeah, impressive win last night against Burton. Good win against Northampton. Before that, Mansfield lost, and then draws against Leyton Orient and Gillingham. I guess Gillingham was in the Bristol Street as well, was it?
Yeah.
It
was. Yeah.
So, okay, a mixed bag in terms of form. How are you going to set up on Saturday? Obviously, we chatted, didn't we, the other day about how we're going to set up. How does Ravel like to set up your lads?
Wow, good question. You know what? It's been a bit of a mad one for us this season because, you know, look, we like to think we've put together this really brilliant squad, and we have got a really good squad. I really believe in this squad. It's probably the best team and squad we've probably ever had. And I think Alex Ravel's done a fabulous job in that regard. And the opening 2 to 2.5, 3 months, we've seen some excellent sides. We've beaten some big sides. We've beaten Wrexham. We've beaten Mansfield. We beat Barnsley 3-0, beat Charlton. And we've seen some excellent performances against Huddersfield, Peterborough, we should never have lost. Lincoln, we were great that day. And just kind of the last month and a half to 2 months, we've just had, very simply, a bit of an injury crisis where, I mean, I've never seen it. The amount of big players we've had out injured is just unbelievable. And it's been really difficult the last month and a half. We haven't scored a lot of goals. We haven't won a lot of matches. We've drawn a lot, which I think is a good sign, actually. If you're not losing, you're drawing at least. So it's been really difficult recently, and how we've set up. I think people have struggled to identify what kind of style of play we've seen the last month because of the injuries. However, it's started to click the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And I know, I didn't want to come on here.
Don't tell Russ that. Here we the doldrums out for the rest of the week.
Do you know what? Really funny, actually. Yeah. I put on Twitter it earlier, and there was a Stockport fan that commented and went, "Oh, that's convenient, isn't it?" But no, it has. We've changed a little bit of the style of play. We've got players that have returned from injury. Some of the big players, like Dan Phillips, played last night. Massive player. He played really well. And we've seen a massive improvement. We beat Northampton 2-0. As soon as we scored, all clicked. Scored the second, could have scored 2 more. Last night we won 4-0, which is our highest scoring win this season. And we didn't even play our full 11 last night. We had a lot of the lads out that haven't played a lot of minutes, like Tyree Simpson, who scored. So it's all started to click. So I think in terms for Saturday, we will probably play the way that we have the last week. You'll see a lot of football, quick football, but we have still got that physical approach. I think the way we set up, it'll either be a 4-4-2 with a diamond and 2 up top to accommodate the Dan Kemp role in the number 10. Or what Alex Ravel's done a lot this season at home, which has been very effective, is we've played a 4-3-3 and pressed high, played high, squeezed teams and dictate the game that way. So it will be one of those 2 systems for the game Saturday. Really, it just depends which system he picks and who he plays, pretty much.
Right. So it's not a case of looking at what we might do and reacting to that. He'll just play what he thinks is the best. Well, obviously he'll play the best system that he thinks he's going to get a result, but he's not a reactive manager. Is that what you're saying?
He's reactive. I'd say they'd certainly always be doing their homework and who we're playing, and there'll be things that they put in place to obviously give us the best chance against the side that we're playing. But evidently at home, we've been really good at home this season. He'll know that the way that we play at home with the players we've got and with players returning, if we can beat Wrexham, we can beat a lot of sides in this league at home. So I'm sure Revs will be confident with the style that we have and how we play at home with the players we've got.
Fair dues.
Okay. Fist pumping as Evans.
What was that? Sorry.
Does he do the same fist pumping as Evans?
Do you know what? Right. So honestly. He does, right? However, I feel like Alex Ravel has been waiting around to do the fist pumps, right? And I feel like he's been sitting watching Evans doing it and going, do you know what? When I'm manager, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make it look better than Evans did, right?
Well, that's not hard, really.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But you know what I love, chaps, right? When we watch Revs do it, and this is going to sound terrible, but it's true, and honestly, the whole fan base will agree with me because there's been discussion at our club a lot of times this season. It's so nice for change to see, an aesthetically pleasing person do the fist pumps. It's like he can get a bit more like speed through the fist pump rather than like waddling over and doing it. Do you know what I mean? So when he does it, it's like it's like, yes, that's the manager, rather than some guy with a coat that don't fit with the zip that's like holding on for dear life, and he's kind of like doing that. So, but no, Revs does do the fist, but it's brilliant when he does it because he has so much passion. He loves the club and stuff. So no, but he does.
Nice one. Before I press you for a prediction, Matt, we've got a question from Ian Dowden, regular listener. Is the league stronger this year or weaker, in your opinion?
Much stronger. Oh yeah, wow. I think a lot of. I listen to a lot of pundits every week on podcasts and stuff on YouTube, and a lot of them coming into this season said this was probably the best League One they've seen. Probably ever, but in a long, long time. And I was a little bit like, are they just saying that? Is it going to be pretty similar to last season? You can tell the level of it this season. And don't get me wrong, last year you had Derby County, you did have some big clubs, Portsmouth were in it, a lot of money. But this season, I would say through the league, it's just so much more competitive. A lot of people have even been saying, if you finish anywhere from 15th to 20th, you've had a good season. It doesn't mean you're a bad side for a lot of sides. It's just the way that the league is. So, yeah, I would say this league, honestly, it's been much, much stronger, and the level of football at times has been frightening. So, yeah, no, it's definitely been a lot better. Yeah,
and I suppose it's not often you get of 4 teams coming up to with a lot of investment. So that's gonna strengthen the league, isn't it? Anyway, so. I can see why that's the case. Yeah. Okay, final thing then. Score prediction. Give us your best shot.
See, I'm Mr. Positive. I'll be honest, right? I don't think I've ever predicted us to lose. Even when, right? Honestly, chaps, even when we were useless in COVID, I would still hold on to a 1-0 win, and everyone would go, Farley, we've lost 20 games in a row. They're not going to somehow pull out a 2-0 win. But no, do you know what? I really believe in this squad. It's my favourite squad. And again, I said it earlier, best team we've had. And it seems like things are clicking at the minute. And look, if we're going to win the game, it'll be at home, I think, at the minute. And we're at home. I think it's going to be a really tough game. And I've got this funny feeling that there's going to be goals in it. I'm going to go... Oh. Do you know what? I'm going to go for a fantastic game of football, 3-2 win, and I think we'll nick it late.
Fair dues.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Nice. Nice and open game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Fair dues. Well, I'm not surprised because you are the most positive podcaster on the planet, which I love. I love it.
You got to be positive, haven't you? You got to.
Of course, yeah.
Of course, definitely.
You got to do it, especially a club of our size as well. It's like, you know, you just got to do it, haven't you? And you know, we never thought we'd be in this league in this position. So, you know, I'm still pinching myself on cloud nine that we're playing against, you know, big clubs and going to big grounds. And so, yeah, you know me. I'm just always backing the team.
Brilliant. Love it. Right, Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. But hopefully we'll see you in the return fixture.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Tuesday night, I think it's 1st of April, I'll be there. And can I just say, I said to Russ the other day, I say it to absolutely everyone, the best pies I have ever had at a stadium is Stockport County. Oh my God. I remember the little box, mushy peas with a bit of gravy. And I keep saying to my partner at the minute, Amy, she's getting bored of it. And actually, she wants to come because of the pies. Right? And I've been saying to her, she goes, you know, what if we got Stockport? And I'm like, look, darling, you know, it's the 1st of April. Oh, is it that long away till we can have those pies again? I'm like, yeah. Don't get me wrong. It'll come around quick. We've even marked it in the calendar. Stockport away, in brackets, pies. So, I'll be there for the away game, yeah.
Do you know what? I didn't pick up on it when we spoke in the week, actually, Matt. You mentioned you like the gravy, but you're a southerner. So do you do beans and gravy? Not together, but do you like both, I guess?
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I'm actually, at heart, I'm actually a northerner at heart, really. Right? I've got a lot of friends that live up north. I go to see them up near Leeds and Heckman Wyke all the time. I'm always up north. And, I love thick gravy. I could, right, if I could, and I do sometimes when I have my roast dinners, if I could get a thick gravy in a little mug and drink it, I would. I love it. It's just obsessed with the stuff. But on that pie at Stockport on a Tuesday night with a pint of dark fruit strongbow, oh my word.
Winner.
Pity not playing us just before Christmas because we do the Christmas dinner in a cup.
Oh yeah.
Is there any way you could send me some or something? Out a day, or could you? I don't know. First class mail. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, get it on Uber Eats.
Yeah. Can I just pay £300 for that to be delivered? Yeah. Sorry, Amy, but the holiday's off in June. I've got to get that.
Nice one. Cheers, Matt. We'll let you go.
Cheers,
have a good evening. Good luck after Saturday. And we'll see you in April time, mate.
Yeah, lads. Thank you so much for having me on. Best of luck for the season. And why have I got this funny feeling Stockport are going to get promoted to the Championship? I don't know what it is.
Don't jinx us. See you later.
Thanks for having me on. It's been great fun.
Cheers, mate. Speak to you soon.
See you later, lads.
There we go. That's Matt. Love getting Matt on. That's been 2 years, hasn't it? That's weird, isn't it?
The Stevenage Andy Redding.
Yeah. Someone's commented. Gazendo said Matt and Andy could sort out the Middle East.
Yeah, as long as we were playing each other.
Yeah, good stuff. I have seen you. They're getting the reses that have come in the comments, by the way. So we will talk about them at the end. I'll probably just. I mean, that can be one of mine, to be honest, because I've not thought of any. Yeah, good stuff. Oh, before we move on, let me do a bit of admin just after that. Just to let everybody know, the Kenny Boxshall interview and the Liam Hogan interview, they're both out now. You get the sort of a bridge version. You've got to become a Patreon member if you want to get the full version. So they're out now. Liam Hogan, we're doing part 2 in the new year. He's already agreed to that. So we're going to sit down with him again because we just we couldn't get enough in, basically. It was a really good chat. We got a few irons in the fire, but we have confirmed we're going to be talking to Fraser Horsfall tomorrow night, James Jennings on Monday, Warren Feeney on the 30th. These are all podcasts that are going to come your way. And we've got loads of other sort of irons in the fire and contacts that we're trying to get off the ground. And then just wanted to thank all our patrons. We're over 100 patrons now, which is amazing. So
Brilliant.
thank you so much to everybody for that. And we'll just keep on plugging away with all these special guest episodes. And yeah, cheers to everybody that's listened, downloaded, and watched any of our content. Yeah, good, isn't it? Motoring along, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely looking forward to tomorrow night. That'll be good.
Absolutely.
Talking to Fraser.
Gazendo says, Mark Payne, lol. Gaz, I'll send you a message privately about that one. Anyway, we have spoke to Mark Payne. So let's get on to, first things first, let's get on to Exeter on Saturday before we move on to Bradford. Exeter on Saturday, I felt like that was a pretty routine win. Okay, we huffed and puffed in the first half, but we were never in danger, were we?
No, I'd agree with that. I think, like I say, if you looked at it over the 90 minutes, and certainly the second half, we were dominant. We hit the post twice, didn't we, in the second half?
Should have had 2 or 3 penalties.
There was an argument that he was a bit unlucky with the first goal because it was, the own goal. But no, it was second half. I thought, considering how bad the conditions were, I thought we played some decent football and controlled it quite well, really, because it was tough conditions, wasn't it? There was parts of the game where the ball was being controlled by the wind more than anything else. But second half, I thought we handled the situation well and certainly deserved to win the game. And really, pretty much without Exeter really having too many, they didn't really get a proper shot on target, really, did they? I don't think so.
I didn't really know what their tactics were because they seemed to be caught in two minds of whether they were trying to play it long and hit us on the break, play it over the top, or if they were sort of trying to play it down in front of us, which neither of them seemed to work, and they didn't really penetrate us at all. It was just, as you say, it looked like it was coming. It was just when, for me. I think that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it reminded me of one of those games where we used to play in sort of like the National League, not so much National League North, but definitely National League and Summer League too, where a team came and camped in almost. They didn't quite do that. I think they still had enough quality to sort of hit us. What always surprises me is you see these teams and you see them on like the EFL highlights and they're battering other teams and they look really good. Exeter are one of those, the sort of mid-table. Stevenage are one of those. This is why I get nervous when we get the Apo guest on and things like that. But when it actually comes down to it, they didn't really lay a glove on us, did they? I felt like we were struggling to beat them as opposed to they were playing good against us, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it seems maybe we were trying to beat the weather to start with. I don't know if it made a difference which way, because I found it really strange on Saturday. Stand the Cheadle end was you saw the rain driving from the main stand into the pop side. Yeah. The right-hand side of my face was absolutely freezing from a wind that was coming from the opposite way.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know, because it seemed as if the wind was coming across, so it didn't look as if that would make a difference to playing into the wind or playing, against the wind. But as you say, we certainly looked a lot better in that second half. We just more controlled and just stepped it up, didn't we? I think the back was absolutely, he was absolutely superb, wasn't he, Camps?
Camps was great, as Bernie Boy there, 89 says. The thing with the wind and the weather, I don't know if we've all played in conditions like that. I certainly have. I think people often think, oh, it's windy, so that means that you're either with the wind or you're against it. And Hinchliffe was kicking into it in the first half. He had the wind behind him in the first half, then against it, that kind of thing. It's not always the case because that wind was swirling around like Billy O, wasn't it? So if you play a ball, if you played a ball down the channel, it's kind of like 60-40 whether it's going to get to your intended target or intended space, because the wind could just kill them, couldn't it? There was no rhyme or reason to
curl it infield or curl it outfield, couldn't it?
There
was no consistency with that. Playing the ball, so getting it down, playing it along the floor and stuff like that, it just suited us better, didn't it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and again, with obviously Horsfall went off after about 20 minutes, didn't he? So he changed the system. So did you think that made a difference as well as changing the system and going the way we did? Because did he bring Norwood on? and then pushed Camps further forward, didn't he? So he almost went, was it a 4-2-2-2? I think more than what we were playing before that. And I think that we looked pretty comfortable like that, didn't we? We looked a lot better, a lot more creative, and pushing Camps up that bit further. Because we can play next to Lewis Bate, can't he? And sit in that holding role. But again, he looked really good playing alongside Collar and just behind that front two.
Yeah, I think those three players have been key, haven't they? Really, really make the difference. And quality players. But it's for me, makes a big difference when you've got you can see the quality, and it always amazes me because Collar's had he's had bad luck with injuries and what have you, but when he comes back, he's one of the few players that sometimes he comes back in the side, and some players need 3 or 4 games before they sort of find the mojo kind of thing and fit in and look good again. But he seems to just come back and is this as if he's never been away? And
he is. Yeah,
it's the impressive stuff. I've always thought Collar had the ability to play at a higher level. He looks quality to me. But like you say, Camps has found his feet and is all of a sudden. And Bate I think he's been phenomenal. What a signing!
Obviously, someone's told the match day sponsors that he really likes gin.
Yeah, he must be racking up that gin.
I tell you what, we know what his family are getting for Christmas, don't we?
Yeah.
But if you were sat in the sponsors box, it'd be hard to disagree with him, wouldn't it? He's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a great engine on him, and he always makes himself available for a pass. His passing range is fantastic. Springs, put some lovely balls across, and he just he oozes quality and got a leadership quality. But I must admit, when he first came and they announced he was captain, I was quite taken aback, really, because I thought, hang on a minute, and then when you start watching him play, and you think, now I get it.
Yeah.
Got it, hasn't he? I mean, he's a footballer, and I think he relishes that having the armband, and it's working well. It's great. So a lot of feedback on Louis, and rightly so. And Louis, I'll take nothing away from him, but I think Bate's been fantastic as well, and it goes slightly under the radar because all the talk is about Louis because he's scoring all the goals, and there's a lot of talk about is he going and is he staying or what's going on, and I understand that, but Bate's going around his business in quite a man, you haven't said that, he does get noticed by the sponsors.
Yeah.
Well, he does. He gets not only gets noticed by the sponsors, he gets noticed by the ref, because I've noticed that he takes his captaincy role very seriously, as he should. I mean, come on. But as a 21-year-old, I quite like that, because if you notice, and you'll probably notice it more now I've mentioned it, when there's a foul and we feel hard done by, he's not in the referee's face, but he just goes and has a quiet word with the ref and just plants that seed, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, I've noticed that as well. Like you say, it's you need somebody there, and it's the right way of going about it, because you've got to be careful. It's easy to pick up bookings, and we've fallen victim to it too often when we've had players booked for saying things and speaking out of turn, and it's so frustrating when they go on and get booked again, and then they get we lost Fraser for the Birmingham game, which was a blow. So he seems to have that knack of just making his point, doesn't he? And make the point and get away, and
that's it. Make the point and then just walk away. And I've noticed as well that when you think about him being a 21-year-old captain, the support network he's got. I mean, he's got Ollie Norwood stood next to him, who's captain. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying he's captain Sheffield United in the Premier League.
Yes, pretty sure.
I think he has, hasn't he? When you come into a new club, okay, no, it wasn't here when we got Bate, but you come into a new club and you're given the captaincy, and you probably promised a lot of things as well. And then Norwood arrives in the door. He must be licking his lips, Bate, thinking, this is fantastic, this. got a good mentor almost, and got a good team around me, and they've given me the captain's armband. It can only go one way for Bate, can't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to make some money out of him. That's for sure. I don't mean that this. I don't mean we're going to sell him in January. You know what I mean? He's
no. I know. Yeah.
The potential for him there, having Norwood next to him, who, as you said, is a captain, Horsfall behind him, and Pye as well. I think Pye's captain material.
Pye as well. Yeah, Rydell is. Yeah.
And then you've got Wotton up front. So, as you say, that spine of the team is they're all captains, aren't they? And that can only help Bate. But as you say, he has absolutely revelled in the role, and he's just getting better and better every game.
It just made me laugh, Waggy, because you almost threw away that he had a soul and a life and a personality. He was just for a very slight second. Then he was just a commodity. Then, but he was just a piece of flesh for a moment. I know what you mean.
It's the way the club have said, isn't it? He's an asset.
Yes. Yeah.
What we want, how we want. But we want that player coming from Stockport, coming through the ranks from Stockport. And again, it's not a case of being a selling club. It's just that you can see that clubs are going to watch him, scout him, and say, we've got to get this guy. He's only 21. He's absolutely superb. He's ripping up League One. Look how many, when a close season, he's permanently pissed on gin. So he'll be sorted. Let's get him in.
Pissed on gin. That's got to be a contender for the title of the podcast. Bait pissed on gin. Moving on. I mean, I don't think we need to talk about the goals. The first one was an own goal. Obviously, good work though.
It's a cracking strike, though, wasn't it? What a finish!
Oh yeah, I was going to say Wotton's wasn't, but yeah, it wasn't. It was tidy, wasn't it? He sort of side-footed it along the floor. That was a good one. And then obviously the penalty. But Louis Barry was a nuisance, wasn't he?
It was the same player, wasn't it, that scored the own goal? I know.
Yeah, he was on the
highlight. He didn't realise at the time.
Yeah, he was on loan from. Is he on loan from Brentford? I think the lad. So French guy. On to last night then, or we're recording this on Wednesday, so Tuesday night. Bradford. I didn't go. Did you? You didn't go, Waggy. I know that much.
No, I didn't go. I didn't really watch it either. So,
Dave, did you go?
I watched it. It wasn't.
You
great.
Watched it.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was disappointing in some respects, especially because for me, I mean, I know Dave talks about it quite a lot, but obviously, you looked at the side and there was a lot of fringe players, and he's made the point. You've got a challenge and put yourself in contention to be picked for the first team, and to me, there was only 3 players who performed, and one of them was the one who I felt was probably our best player was the keeper, and it says something about how the game went because he let 3 in, but I thought he was our best player, and some of the saves he made, I'm not exaggerating, it could easily have been 6 or 7.
Really?
That's a concern because, I think we've got a big squad, but some of the players just are not really, the fringe players are not, some of them are just not performing. And it's a bit of a concern, to be honest, I think. For me, Norwood played, I thought he played very well. Odin Bailey had a decent game. But besides that, some of the rest of them, it was poor.
Is it a case of the team that we play in the league, that first 11 almost, and it's kind of, I don't know, is it first? We've kind of like 7 or 8 players that's the names on the team sheet, isn't it? And I think I'm right in probably saying that. Then the rest sort of rotate. Is it a case of the first 11 or the first core of the team, the first team is really, really good, that will win us football matches in League One, but you can't have too many of the ones that are, let's say, in inverted commas, second string, because as soon as they start to bleed more into the team, that's when it becomes disjointed. They've not played together, and maybe they aren't as match fit, and maybe they're not up to what we're trying to do in what Charlie's trying to ask for. Is that a fair assessment?
It's, to me, it feels like a fair point. I think another point would be that it's probably fair to point out that Bradford put a decent side out, and they had Andy Cook, and we all know about Andy Cook. He's been around forever, and Kavanagh who played well. It was took the game to us, and yeah, they made us work. There was some odd decisions with regard to the tactics. It felt like we went 2 down, changed the tactics, got back in the game, and then there was some substitutions, and we seemed to go back to the way we started the game. But yeah, but you know, I suppose it wasn't high on the priority list for you know, it's something that, you know, we've used to try players and maybe try systems as well. And it got to the knockout stage, and to be honest, we were well beaten, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's some questions coming in here. Here's a pretty good one. Nick 10, regular shirt. Nick, mate, you okay? Why not recall Stretton? He's on the books and could be a option off the bench in first team games. I don't think the issue is first team games, is it? It's more this EFL Trophy, and you know, the Carabao Cup first round was obviously a nightmare as well. The good thing is, I think you've just hit the nail on the head, Dave. For me, the good thing is he's trying to. It's not a competition we prioritise, so it kind of doesn't matter. I wasn't too disappointed about going out last night. And I think the point is getting the minutes and them proving to Charlie that they are worthy of a first team spot, and those that he wants them to prove it aren't. So it's kind of making his mind up, isn't it, about a lot of players?
I'd have thought so. I mean, I can't know what Dave Challen's thinking. I can only.
Why not? That's why you're here, Dave. That's why you're here.
I can give my opinion of you know. It was funny actually, because it was noted on. I think there was a comment made that I don't think he's made. He didn't do an interview, did he, after the game? And whether that's because he wasn't best pleased or not, I don't know, but it could be.
That's a good shout, yeah.
It was. I think if I'd have been in Dave's shoes, I'd have been disappointed. But like you say, you know, when you consider the grand scheme of things and how well we're doing with the first team squad, and you know, it maybe there is an element of, you know, we have got a terrific first 11, and some of the other players that we'd like to see and hope that they're going to, you know, put those players' shirts under a bit of pressure. Maybe they're just not quite up to the standard we was hoping for, and maybe I'm being a bit harsh on them. I don't know, but yeah, it was. I think he'd be a little bit disappointed yesterday with some of the performances. It wasn't the best.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think they're a bit disjointed, because it is almost like a brand new 11 that he's putting out for these type of games, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I think that's the bit of a disjointed. But I think that there's some of the players that are sort of showing a bit of a spark that possibly could come into that 11. I'm not saying, and I know that the first 11 pretty much sort of writes itself, doesn't it? Now it's pretty much set in stone. But I think slight improvements. If you bring, like, let's say Diamond, I think Diamond's got potential. If he comes into that 11,
that first 11,
first 11 in place of Barry, maybe Collar, you know, then maybe that raises his game, because he's playing within that squad, within that team. To say, whereas totally changing the team, it is a bit more awkward, a bit more disjointed.
I think if you wanted to take it a bit further, you know, obviously we you know, you've got players who are coming back from injury, coming into the side, and you know, playing more to get the fitness levels back up. And it's a fair point, because you know, I thought when we started the season, Diamond looked like, you know, when he did play, I thought he played some pretty decent football, and you know, he ended up finding himself more on the bench, and you know, he's dropped down a little bit, but he has shown enough glimpses, hasn't he, of
just his final ball or his final decision, I think, that's letting him down, and I think that's why he's dropped back. Yeah,
I'd agree with that. You know, that seems to have been lacking, and it's a crucial part of the, you know, having an end product, or, you know, decent crop. So set somebody else up is so important. But I think that's a fair point, Wiggy, to be fair. I don't want to be you know, I wouldn't want to it's not all doom and gloom, and I'm not trying to say that. I think I was expecting more, but
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, we have got players that are capable of, and like you say, that coming back into the team and doing okay for us or doing well. And it was only a couple of weeks ago Tanto came on and finished the game off in the FA Cup, wasn't it? After a terrific run by Admirola, and that was a quality piece of football. I thought the pass out to him and the way he got down the pitch and put it over, and the finish was absolutely top draw. So we know we've got players that are capable. I just thought, yeah, it was, and like you're right. These players haven't always been playing together, so it looked a bit disjointed in at times, and it wasn't the fact that we'd gone out with competition, because, like you say, I don't think and there's not too many fans are going to be too upset about that. It was the way it was the performance. It was, the way we went out the competition. I thought was disappointing, but but not going to get too down about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Fair enough. Just a quick one from Gazendo. I've just picked up on this comment. I think I'm going to agree with this. We have a first date, a second date, and a third date. And for me, that first date, if you start to bleed a few of those second date and then maybe third dates into that first date, if people are keeping up with this, not exactly the 1% club, and I get, I'm not saying that, but
all right, Andy.
Then. No, because Andy's was different, and we could talk about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, first and second first team.
Yeah, I agree with that, because then that's when you start to get those disjointed performances. Those first eight and a mixture of 3 others from second eight or third eight. I think you're okay, certainly in the league anyway. But yeah, just okay. So that's Bradford. We're pushing for time, and it always happens, and we say it every week. But we've already gone 52 minutes, so let's move on. On to Benoni BB Andresson. Then there is a comment from our friend Goodneeds that does say that he did. I said it so fast that he didn't realise I'd said his name. So that's me being like proper good at pronouncing stuff. So have that.
But he can the rest of the comment.
He has to go back and check. He can confirm that that's the proper English accent on the name. So obviously I can't do an Icelandic accent. But there we go.
That to me means that I think he's taking the piss a bit, because you're basically saying it in English instead of like, you said how good you were at foreign accents.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose so.
I think, to be fair, I think it was more a question of us saying how bad his English was when he actually
but for those who are not familiar with Andresson, we know that he's coming into our development.
Emerging talent. That's it. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's what I meant to say. Emerging talent. So just looking at him, so he's 19 years old. This is going to make you feel old. Well, he's 19 years old, but he was born in 2005. There you go. His stats for this season. I think the season in Iceland finished in October, and. Yeah, he's got 11 goals, a FOTMOB rating of 8.67. He got 5 goals in one match. That was against HG Coppervugs. There you go. Wasn't that the last game of the season?
That was the last game of the season, but he did score 4 against Fram Reykjavik. And by all accounts, I think Fram Reykjavik are usually up there, aren't they? But he does play for Iceland's under 21s as well. So, yeah. Are you surprised he's gone into the emerging talent pool, is what I'm going to say, Waggy?
No, because he's only 19. I think that's just to give him a bit of protection, just to let him, because he's coming over to a new country. But I think, was he in Bologna or somewhere like that? He was over in Italy, I think, before he went back to Iceland. I think I've read somewhere. So hopefully that he's good. But I think there's just giving him a bit of protection, isn't it? So it's a case of, if he comes in, then we can get him out on loan somewhere and give him a bit of potential, because no disrespect to the Icelandic league, it's probably not as good as League One, is it? So, but you never know. He might get given a chance if we're still in any of these. Oh no, we're out of all these little shitty cups now, aren't we? So he's either playing in the league or he's playing in the FA Cup. So, so yeah, but I think he'll get on the bench and stuff like that. I think unless it's determined that he will go out on loan somewhere just to give him a bit of match practice. Because by the time he comes in January, he say he won't have played for 2-3 months, so he needs to get his fitness back up and stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah,
so,
yeah, he does. Yeah,
I think it's a good decision, and much to a lot of people seeming to jump on the bandwagon is that I do not think he's Barry's replacement.
Right. Okay. Even though they're not playing the same kind of positions, sort of off the left. No,
I don't think he's not Barry's replacement. I don't think, me personally. I would say my opinion of what I think is going to happen with Barry plenty of times. So, he'd say, we'll wait and see. I think he'll get some game time. He'll get 20 minutes here and there after he's got up to speed. But I think that's a good signing because there was a couple of Premier League clubs chasing him, wasn't there? I think.
There was certainly, he was linked to other reasonable sized clubs. How much interest there was, I have no idea, but he certainly wasn't linked to other clubs. And like you say, I mean, it's like a lot of players. It's if they're good enough and they get they get a chance, and they might be fortunate. But sometimes if they get a goal, get the confidence up, and all of a sudden, I mean, you look back in. I've supported County a long time, and remember you look at Tony Hancock. I mean, he was actually playing Sunday league football, and then he went to we signed him from Stockport Georgians, and got a chance, and it just clicked. And if somebody's good enough and gets a bit of confidence, and like you say, I think they'll have a good support structure at the club now. That's well documented, and so he's coming to a good club with a good setup and good training facilities, and let's see what happens. But when you've got somebody with a record as good as it makes you think, oh, it's got to be worth a chance, and we just got to hope, haven't we?
Yeah. Every confidence in the coaching team in getting the best out of him.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Good stuff. Before we move on to getting reses, Dave, do you want to give us the latest on co-op news? I might get a jingle for this. Co-op news, something like that. I don't know.
No, they're a fiver.
We've got our board meeting coming up tomorrow. So we had the AGM at the Spinning Top. So I'd like to thank everybody who attended. Much appreciated. We're meeting as a new board tomorrow, face-to-face meeting. And as you touched on before, we're more or less in a position now to officially launch the coach initiative, and we found a sponsor, which is brilliant, because obviously we're making a commitment of £2 a seat for co-op members, which is a great reason to join, another reason to join, and it obviously going to cost us money. So yeah, we've managed to bring on board Highvis Site Supply Group, and I'd like to Steve Cree for his support. Really important and a really good gesture. So thanks to Steve, and we'll be hopefully having the meet. Well, we will be having our meeting tomorrow, talking about board positions, but we'll also be talking about are we ready to launch. We want to launch with a sponsor, so bringing Steve on board was great news for the co-op, and will help underwrite the cost that is. We think it's got a lot of potential. The coach idea's got a lot of potential to bring some new members in. So yeah, we're very excited about that. So yeah, that's one of the things that we're up and running with, which is good news.
Excellent.
Have we got anything else? Oh yes, we've got the Fraser Horsefall, and if you're a co-op member, you can save yourself £4 on the tickets. Tickets are £10 or £6 for the co-op members. So even though that's not being organised by ourselves, it's still going to be a good event. and that's on Wednesday, the 22nd of January at Basque. And as I say, co-op members will benefit from £4 saving on the ticket. So something we're looking forward to. So thanks to us, Friends of Uganda. Much appreciated.
Yeah, just to say as well, we've had contact from Keith, so we will be talking to Keith at some point. Probably not this side of Christmas, let's be honest, but we'll talk to him at some point, probably before your gig. We'll get Keith on, and we're obviously speaking to Fraser Horsfall tomorrow, so all ties in nicely.
Absolutely. Really good news.
All good.
Good stuff. And also, on a personal note and on a podcast note, congratulations to John Billsbury, who's our blogger. If you don't read his blogs, read his blogs. They are brilliant on a Friday, usually go out on a Friday. And he's become a board member of the co-op, hasn't he?
He's one of the latest board members, along with Dave Wetters, who was co-opted onto the board. So Dave's officially joined as a board member now.
Is he in charge of the music?
Dave, well, we're going to discuss board roles tomorrow, so we'll see.
There we go. Yeah, he's DJ.
But yeah, funny enough, John's come in and he's already taken on board the co-op program notes and the express articles that we do.
Brilliant.
I've got to be honest, I've not even met the guy other than on Zoom on meetings, but yeah, we're meeting face to face tomorrow, so it'll be good to be able to shake his hand and buy him a pint if he wants one.
Nice. Good stuff. Right. Excellent. Shall we do Getting Rezzers?
Sounds like a plan.
Let's do Getting Rezzers.
Getting the rezzers.
Come on, getting rezzers.
Getting the rezzers.
Getting rezzers.
That's
rubbish. Getting rezzers.
I'm not having that. Getting rezzers.
So here we go, Getting Rezzers. We've already got some people commenting, and Annie, who's a patron, who is a long-time listener as well, she's messaged us on Patreon, giving me some Getting the Rezzers. So I've got that to while Wacky, you do yours.
Is that what you're gonna use?
Well, I don't mind admitting I've not remembered one for this week. I've had loads over the week, but I've not remembered one for tonight. So I'll just read out everyone else's. I know, I need to write them down.
Getting the Rezzers folder. Getting the Rezzers folder on your phone.
I've got one, and I think I've written it down. Anyway, Waggy, to tell you what, you go first, then Dave, and then I'll read out the others and get my own Getting the Rezzers.
Right, well, I've got a football-related one, but it's England-related, and it's from when it was the international break. So you can either have that one, or you can have one non-football related. How's that? It's entirely up to you. I'll let you decide which one you want.
Why do I have to decide?
Well, you're the host. I'm giving you the option of how you want this to go.
Right, I prefer, because England. Let's do your non-football one.
Right. Okay.
But you're only having one. You can only do this one. Yeah.
That's fine. I know. Yeah. I'm not Andy.
Comes with about half a dozen every week. I know.
For me, it's these paid streaming services like your ITVX, like your Netflix and everything like that. Yeah. You pay to watch them and they have adverts. And you can't skip the adverts unless you pay more fucking money. How? What? Why? I'm already paying for it. Why are you forcing adverts on me? And the worst of it is that they're all the same adverts every single time, over and over and over. At least change it up a bit. Give me something else to watch. I'm not interested in half of the shit that they do, but it's the same one. So, yes, having a paid streaming service, legal streaming service, and having adverts that you cannot skip. Like watching the football highlights on ITVX. You used to be able to skip through the adverts and you'd skip the Championship, you'd skip League One and you'd go to League Two because you know that that's Counties League. Now you've got to stop. Yeah, you've got to stop, watch the adverts and then you skip. Yeah, you've got to skip it again until you get to the point of having to watch it. No, it's wrong. It's online. I've recorded this. So even if you record it off ITV4, you can't skip the adverts.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Even if you record it?
Even if you record it for anything to do with ITV, you cannot skip the adverts anymore. Unless you've watched it and when you watch it the second time, then you're allowed to skip the adverts.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I kind of understand it for ITV and Channel 4 because they're
making fucking billions out of fucking advertising. So if I'm watching it, if I'm recording it, I'm not watching it live TV, then fuck off. No, I do not want. I want to be able to fast forward adverts.
You know,
Poor Matt came on the show before, wondering if he could swear. Look at your potty mouth.
Well, I've got a good one. I've got a good
Go
one.
on.
It's linked to the club. I mean, we have had some meetings at the club, and we have had some. We do have some serious questions. So we had some good news with regard to from the club that the ticketing system provider is going in the reses. Obviously, yeah, and that's.
I think he's already been put in the reses and took out and put in and took out and put in.
Well, he's going back in again.
Finally,
I think I just wanting to make a quick point because the club did say when they get the new ticket provider, they will be looking at a loyalty scheme, and they've already said that they'll involve the co-op with regard to how the supporters think it should be set up. So we're doing a survey, and the survey will be probably through a QR code. We'll get the information out as soon as we can, but a lot of it will be linked to how the supporters feel a loyalty scheme should be set up. And it's a good opportunity for support, because I know obviously there is a lot of strength of feeling regarding how these things should be done fairly. It's there's no one system that's going to suit everybody, but there will be an attempt to try and make it as fair as possible. So it's a good opportunity to do that, and we'll feed obviously all the results of the survey back to the club before they decide how they're going to work this loyalty scheme, because it is important, and especially as we're doing, the amount of fans we're taking to away games nowadays is just off the scale, and to the point where getting tickets for counties away games is not always straightforward. So it's important stuff really, and we appreciate the efforts of the club to involve ourselves, and it's good to know that they want to get it right and we want to try and help them. So, this is this supporters' opportunity, but I'll be glad to see the back of the last ticketing system, because it's
future ticketing, really called.
It's
future ticketing, yeah.
Yes, it's not been great. But
it's not been a great experience, has it? I mean, I don't think it's been helped by ourselves either. I mean, I noticed there was 2 links to match day tickets. One had the matches on, one didn't. I mean, but yeah, it'd be good to see that. So you get in the rest. So cheers for that, Dave. That's really good. Everybody should jump on that, and everybody should really complete the form that's been sent out to season ticket holders as well. Yeah. It's not a scam. I think a few people have mentioned that. But just to cap that off, your getting the reses was the existing ticketing system. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, good.
Finally, you had the anchor.
And I managed to do that without swearing. I think.
Yeah, my I remember I did write one down. I might get in the reses. It's another shout. From
how can you forget you've got to get in the reses if you've actually wrote it down?
Because I forgot that I'd written it down, and then when I looked, it's like, yeah, I've got one.
I forgot to read it.
Honestly, I've got amnesia. Sometimes I forget to remember that I've got amnesia. No, mine's it's another shout. I hear shouts loads, and I just think that can just get in the reses. I heard somebody shout more than once on Saturday, "Chase it." Now,
it's not rugby.
You play football. If you want footballers to chase the ball, then go and watch under 5s or under 6s, because that's what will happen. They'll all start chasing it.
So that's what we should. So it should be like the Harry Enfield sketch, where it was the 1910 Arsenal versus the New Day Liverpool, where they all just chase the ball.
Yeah. I mean, even at National League North level and above, I can't comment below that. Generally speaking, I've not seen enough, but it's not a game. It's not played where players chase it, is it? You don't go around chasing the football like I mean, some players do, perhaps, maybe, but it's all about positions and things like that, and phases of play, triangles, and all this kind of stuff. Second balls, third balls. Don't just keep on shouting, chase it, because you make yourself look silly, basically.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, maybe they're thinking the word should be press.
Possibly, which is an intelligent chase, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they thought whoever they were shouting it to wasn't doing enough work. That could have been a thing as well. Not working hard enough, perhaps. Because they were perceived not to be working hard enough, they wanted them to chase the ball. Chase it.
While they're stood on sat in the seat eating a cheese and onion pie or something. Yeah, you chased it. Yeah.
I did hear that last season a few times. Was it last season? It would have been last season. Calling Sars a fat bastard, and every time I just thought, I wish I was as fat as Sars.
I'm going to say every single time. Yeah. I'd love to put weight on like Sars.
Getting the reses from Patreon Annie D is, and I think we saw, my lad calls this out all the time, lines people who don't keep up with play, particularly offsides. Surely that must be the first rule of the role.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they don't sometimes, do they? My lad noticed the liner was like, yeah, but he wasn't even up with play. Why is he not up with play?
Yeah, but I think the whole thing around them now is that they don't seem to want to make a decision. I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. They don't want to make a decision without the referee, even for some of the quite blatant throw-ins. You see, they've got the flag down by the side, and they wait for the referee to go. And then they put the flag up. So yeah, that is the sole. Well, not the sole reason, but that's the most important reason that they're there for. Is to be in line with play for offsides and things like that. But I think the other thing as well along that is I still don't. And again, I'm not sure if we've put this in the reses alongside that. Is them not flagging straight away. Letting play go on. Letting play go on for days. And then suddenly when the goal scored or whatever, they put the flag up and say, yeah, it was offside. Like,
yeah.
Whoever came up with that
rule, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've heard Howard Webb, isn't it? He's the sort of leader at the moment. I'll call it leader. I don't know. Is it PMGOL? I don't know. And he has been on radio and what have you, and said if they think it's offside for definite, they will flag as soon as they can. But if they think it's going to be a developing piece of play and they're not too sure, then they will leave it. It's like,
no, I don't think they do. I think it's very rarely now you'll see a lino that will flag straight away for offside, unless like he stood on the goal line and all the rest of the team is at the halfway line.
Yeah, definitely sure.
Yeah, I think he's definitely sure then. But yeah, as I say, they seem to have took a lot of initiative away from linos. As you say, they don't want to make a judgment or do anything. And
I mean, can you blame him though? Can you blame him because all of the scrutiny will be on him? I mean, it stands to reason, doesn't it? Anyway, we got some more getting the reses from earlier in the show. As soon as we came on air, I mean, as soon as we started the podcast, there was getting the reses flying. So Nigel 6446 says, referees casually pace out 10 steps, which is about 6 yards. Put a ruler on the floor and see what a big step a yard is. It's absolutely spot on. It's massive, much bigger than the referee's version. That is so spot on. Don't they do that, don't they? Yeah.
Well, you see, they do it again. It's inconsistency because sometimes they'll take like 3 or 4 big steps and then maybe 2 or 3 little steps and then a couple of bigger steps, or they'll do one where they go ding ding, like almost like moonwalking. Like the walking on the moon steps, and another one is like doing a moonwalk backwards steps, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like Mr. Soft Steps, isn't it? Like big yeah.
It's just like I
like it, Nigel. That can definitely get in the reses. One more for Stephen Fosbrook. Exeter commentator, after the ball was hoofed over the stand, that's got into the Mersey, which, believe it or not, runs along the back of the stand.
Fucking hell, that was some kick, that was some kick. I think we need to get onto Norris McGuirter for a bit of that in the world records.
Amazing.
I think
there's one of the
someone commented on that, didn't they? Say obviously they must have spoke to a county fan and they've just gone, "Oh yeah, that's the Mersey at the back there, winding him."
Well,
up.
yeah, it's funny because
one got to, hasn't it? There's no way
they can't believe that. It's a simple Google Maps.
Google Maps.
Yeah, exactly. Ridiculous. That said, one of the Sky Sports Plus commentators who commentates on us every now and again, Cameron. Can't remember his surname. I'll dig it out. He does message me and says, "What's this? What's the pronunciation of this player? And you're playing this team this week. Is there anything I need to know and things like that?" So try and give him as much information as I can.
We're never having him on the podcast, and if he does research.
No, well, exactly. Yeah, he's not fit for this podcast. Definitely.
Waggy, you're getting it. Russ does research, but then doesn't read it when he comes.
He's researched it.
Forget that I've done it.
He's got papers in front of him and forgets about them.
Do you know, it's funny though because it's people might think it's a gimmick. It's not. I'm honestly, I'm really, really forgetful. Last get in the reses, then we'll wrap up. John Billsbury, new board member of said co-op. Needing separate email addresses for each season ticket holder can get in the reses. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so. But there is if anybody is dependent, isn't it? So basically, is anybody?
Yeah, there's the dependent thing. Yeah,
anything like that. So, but yeah, it does. If you've just got one season ticket or one email address for a season ticket, then why can't you just keep that? Actually, yeah, I can understand that. Definitely understand that. Because again, I'd say I go with my nephew and his mate, and they're both they're both 16 and they're both turning 17 in the next sort of season or two. So then, obviously, that then goes up to a much more expensive season ticket.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I'm going to have to supply them with that email, but it's all still my account in theory. Everything goes through me. So,
I do think as well. Those that aren't technically minded, not believe it or not everybody's got an email address. There's some of the older sort of generations that don't, they want to go up and buy it, don't they? So that needs to be considered. Last few things, Stu Hope, our friend, County Ladies, by the way, the County Ladies podcast is out now for the December. Get that listened to. I listened to it today. Really, really good. Going to a level of depth that I never could when I tried to do the County Ladies stuff, but Stu's goes to all the matches, big County fan as well. So get that listened to. Stu Hope says, tell him to pronounce Ben Hinchliffe's name properly. Yes, I did mention that the first time he contacted me, actually, because Ben was going to be in net, and he came back and said he already knows how to pronounce it. This particular.
Oh, this particular. Tell him to have a word with his mates.
Yeah, well, I could say that. Yeah, it's just, by the way, it's just this one commentator. It's not like it's not Sky. They don't he
should be able. He should speak to his other Sky Sports commentators in the Sky Sports canteen, shouldn't he?
Yeah, maybe the Sky Sports canteen. Yeah, maybe. And Gazendo says Sky Sports friend. Yeah, I think we've got a. We've got this, haven't we? Friend of the show. Anyway. So I think we're just about done, aren't we? If you've enjoyed this, please do subscribe. We are 7 subscribers away on YouTube from 2,000 subscribers. How about that?
Impressive.
And if that happens, I'm gonna have to do a new image and graphic for that. That'll be good. That'll keep me busy, won't it?
We're gonna have a long running competition for that.
No, we're not. That was the worst competition in the history of competitions. That, if anyone can remember that, getting to 1,000 subscribers, and it took us a year to get the prize. But yeah, please do subscribe, do rate and review on whatever podcast player you listen to us on. Obviously, ad-free content, and we do giveaways and things like that. So, and we'll be going on the Crystal Palace coach on the Edgeley Conservative Club coaches, and we'll be doing a giveaway for the coaches that go that day. We don't know what it is yet, but we will. And Waggy's already had his rant, Stu, so we don't. He's done that already.
I think it means that we need a Waggy Wants intro.
Okay, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Dave, cheers, mate. Appreciate you coming on as always.
No, really enjoyed it, and thanks for having me.
No problem. Waggy, see you tomorrow night.
Yes, can't wait. Can't wait.
Be talking to Fraser Horsfall. That'll be out on Patreon and YouTube and podcast players. Don't know, probably pretty quickly because it's online. So maybe next week at some point, keep your eyes peeled for that. And cheers everybody for watching and listening. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Scarf Bagara War. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can catch us every week on your favourite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your contributions help keep the show running to bring the content you love. If you'd like to support the podcast and get access to exclusive special guest episodes, ad-free podcasts, and a monthly giveaway, head over to patreon.com/the Scarf Bagara War. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content, and more. You can find us on X, Facebook, and Instagram, all at County Podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow County fans. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scarf Bagara War. Come on, County!